We talked about this $2 billion that's got to get, or $2 trillion that Jensen said would likely be spent between now and 2028 on data center build out. And, the green line, descending line in the middle, right? This is if you just take the consensus numbers for Nvidia and what that means for their share of the market over this period of time. So the consensus numbers, while Nvidia's numbers continue to go up a lot, right? And they're going to report in 2 weeks here. But if we look at Nvidia's quarterly expectations or their annual expectations, so this year, they're expected to do about 136 billion of data center revenues. Next year, that goes to 166 billion. So up by about, $30 billion. Obviously, the rate of growth is slowing a lot. But when you compare that to the statements out of the big four, it certainly seems to foot, right? It seems that they're going to continue to spend. And I think the real question as to the air pocket now, right? Like this could have been very different. They could have got on their earnings call, Bill, and they could have said, we're pulling back on CapEx because we're not seeing the return. Okay. Yeah. None of them said that. They all said the opposite. But I think the question that remains out there is whether they're going to see the revenue on the other side of the equation, right, to justify that return. And they've all cautioned us that they expect that there may be a lag between these two things. What was interesting, the CFOs of Microsoft and Meta, Amy and Susan, were quick to point out that if the revenues don't materialize, that they don't actually have to build out the data center shells, right, that they're acquiring. They said these are 15-year long-lived assets. And so we have flexibility in how, we manage those assets.
Yeah. And obviously Meta has other uses for internal use and could redeploy those things. And cool.